Hello, Patriots. I'm Lee Watts, and this is Patriot Point, your source for Kentucky news and analysis from a conservative, Christian, and common sense point of view. Well, this week we're going to be looking about how Andy Beshear is whining and Trump is winning, going on with some battles going on here in the Bluegrass State. I want to start off this week with some news about Kentucky politics. This month, 2 more Kentucky counties have switched, where they are now no longer Democrat-controlled counties, but now they are Republican-majority counties. I dare say the Democratic Party under Andy Beshear's leadership has not been doing quite so well. I checked it out from the Kentucky State Board of Elections to get these numbers. From the day that Andy Beshear became governor of the Commonwealth until today, has the Democratic Party of Kentucky lost 50,000 voters? No, it's more than that. Is it 100,000 they lost? 150,000? 200,000? 250,000? No. As of today, just during Andy Beshear's watch, the Democrats of Kentucky have lost 288,277 Kentucky voters. That is a whopping sum. So I dare say that the Democratic Party is probably not too happy with Andy Beshear here in the Commonwealth, which is okay because we Republicans aren't happy with him either. So at least both of us now are kind of unhappy. Well, let's talk about how Andy is whining about what Trump is doing, continuing Trump's winning streak. Andy Beshear is whining because President Trump has reduced the funding for the Kentucky Cabinet for Family and Health Services. Now, if you just listen to Andy talk or the mainstream media, by the way, if you're listening to the mainstream media, stop it.
Stop it. Get some help.
That's right. Stop it. If you're watching the mainstream media, they are going to literally directly lie to you on purpose. So let's talk about what's really going on. Why has Trump cut some of the funding for the Kentucky Cabinet for Health and Human Services? Here's what the regular news won't tell you, but we're going to get you on Patriot Point, is that he's cut funding because under Andy Beshear's watch, the Kentucky Cabinet for Family and Health Services has spent hundreds of thousands of your taxpayer dollars on drag shows that are pushing the COVID vaccine, among others. And for some crazy reason, Donald Trump doesn't think that the Kentucky taxpayer should have to pay for drag shows that are pushing the COVID vaccine and others under Andy Beshear's watch. So yes, he's reducing funding for this group that Andy is running, and he's reducing funding for those specific things. So I think it's absolutely insane that Andy Beshear continues to push this whole transgender lie agenda through drag shows, especially targeting little kids and stuff. You ever wonder why these drag queens, they don't want to read stories over at the senior citizen home. They don't want to go to the Veterans Center. No, they're all the time targeting little children. That's why you call predators. I'm Lee Watts, and I approve that message. So let's talk about something else Andy Beshear is whining about that Trump is doing to continue Trump's winning streak. And that is how President Trump has dismantled the Department of Education. Again, the Department of Education only came into existence during Jimmy Carter's administration. And at that time, America was #1 in education, and we have now plummeted to 40th during their watch. This is one of the reasons why President Trump dismantled the Department of Education. Because in 2024, the Department of Education spent only 25% of its budget on public school students. And it spent a whopping 75% of its budget, which would be $204 billion, on office parties, travel, and administration costs, and only sent 25% of the money to actually students. This is going to be a wonderful thing for kids all across the country, and specifically also Kentucky public school students, because now we're going to be bypassing this massive wasteful organization. And this same money, which used to go to a group that spent 75% of it on administration cost, now all of that money can be sent directly to the state's school programs. So it's not like the states are losing money. We're cutting out the middleman that was wasting a bunch of the money and going back to the way it was, where the states each control their own education system, and we can actually get more money directly to the students and to the teachers. It's a wonderful thing that I think both students and teachers should be celebrating, as they're going to be getting more funding than they were under the Department of Education. But for some reason, Andy Beshear is actually whining about that. Oh, by the way, how did that work out? Andy Beshear promised that he was going to give all the teachers all these different things. Did that actually happen? What? It didn't actually happen, now did it? So Andy is continuing to whine and Trump is continuing to win. Andy Beshear is also whining about some new laws that were passed. The state legislature passed a law that says Kentucky taxpayers do not have to have their money spent to pay for sex change operations for prisoners and other people on the state money. Andy Beshear vetoed that. The state legislature overrode his veto. However, Andy Beshear has said, hey, if we stop paying for prisoners and other people to get sex change operations on the taxpayers' dime, it's going to cost us $9.8 million to stop paying for these surgeries. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard of. When I first heard Andy Beshear say it's going to cost us millions of dollars to stop performing these surgeries, I kind of felt like this.
What? What?
Yeah, that makes no sense at all. It will not cost 1 red cent for the Kentucky taxpayer to stop paying for other people to get sex change operations. If you want to get one, feel free. That's your right, but don't expect the Kentucky taxpayer to have to pay for that. Hint, hint, talking to you, Andy Beshear. Andy Beshear is also whining because the state legislature overrode his veto of House Bill number 6, which is going to say we are going to limit these bureaucratic organizations under Andy's control from making up regulations that have the force of law. So you got a bunch of these little bureaucrats, not elected by anybody, making up regulations for their state department, and these groups nobody voted on are making up things giving the force of law. So the state legislature overrode his veto, said they are not allowed to do that. And he's been whining about that, and I don't know, he can whine all he wants. It'll take me half of a baby aspirin to get over that. So Andy keeps on whining, and the conservatives keep on winning. We are taking ground back, something to celebrate. We are in a golden period as far as the conservatives taking ground in America, and specifically here in Kentucky. I used to announce where I'd be speaking across the state, and I fell out of that practice, but I want to get back into that. So here during the month of April, there's different places where I will be speaking at, and you are invited to come. On April the 6th, I'll be preaching at the Mount Olivet Baptist Church in Lexington. On April 11th and 28th, I will be giving tours of the Kentucky State Capitol building. The building's getting ready to close for renovations for several years. So if you would like to take a tour, this will be one of your last opportunities. The tours that I give are absolutely free. They start at 10 o'clock in the morning Eastern Time. And if you'd like to join us, I'll be doing ones on April the 11th and 28th. Just go right inside the main front doors and you'll see me there. On April the 13th, I'll be preaching the Harvest Baptist Church in Fairdale, Kentucky. And on April the 27th, I'll be all day at the Brooks Baptist Church in Elizabethtown. Everyone is welcome to join us for any of these meetings. It'd be great to see you there. And if you'd like to learn about booking a meeting, you can just visit my website, which is leewattsusa.com. So that's the news for this week. Until next time, Patriots, I'm Lee Watts for Patriot Point, reminding you that liberty is not a spectator sport.